UFC Fight Night Shanghai, Walker versus Zhang. Banger fight night, boys. I'm going to be giving you guys my quick picks, my quick predictions. Before we go ahead and get into it, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and let's get it started with the early prelim opener of Iran Abdalalv versus Dr Nurg opens up this fight night card. Light heavyweight matchup here. Both these guys took their first losses in their MMA career in their last fight. Iran lost on short notice to the guy that just got cut, Martin Bidet, I believe it was. And Dr Nurg lost to Brenson Ribeiro. He got subbed, he gassed out, got subbed in the second or third round, I believe, by a Kimura. Iran just lost by decision. But I'm gonna say it right away. I don't know what the odds are, no idea what the odds are, but I'm going Iran Abdalalv. Dr Nurg looked horrible. He looked terrible. It was bothering me the way he was fighting. Genuinely, it was tweaking me out the way he was fighting. He kept twitching his eye. He kept rubbing his eye. Seemed like he had it was either a tick or there was something wrong with his eye. He kept touching his eye. He kept like twitching and stuttering. It almost seemed like he was stutter step. Like he just looked so awkward, uncomfortable in there. And I don't care that Dr Nurg has some finishing potential. I think Iran Abdalalv is going to be able to wrestle. He's going to be able to get in Dr's face, make it dirty, make it scrappy. He's the bigger fighter here. He's got power himself as well. Both these guys are from the same kind of region, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, I believe both these guys are from. And I think Iran's the better fighter. I think he trains with Oralbai, and he's pretty good. He's pretty well-rounded. He lost his last one to a good opponent, genuinely. A good opponent who shouldn't be cut from the UFC, but who did get cut from the UFC. And I think Iran can pull it off. I think he was also fighting at heavyweight in his last fight. He's at light heavyweight now. Pretty sure he was at heavyweight fighting Martin Bidet on short notice. Tough task. Dr Nurg just looked horrible. Gassed out, was twitching his eye, and ended up getting subbed. So give me Iran Abdalalv. I'm going to say he gets a decision win here for the first fight of the night. We move on to the next fight, Xiao Long versus Su Young Yu. Xiao Long's not bad, you know. He's been a little bit up and down. He did well on road to UFC, but in the UFC he hasn't done too great. Su Young Yu is a smothering grappler. He will get on top of you. He will just smother you, be on top of you, land ground strikes, just keep the pressure on, keep the pace up. He's got good cardio. Xiao Long's got a little bit of power, but he is not going to be able to deal with Su Young Yu's grappling. I think Su Young Yu is a very good grappler. Doesn't have great finishing potential. I think the finishing upside will be on Xiao Long's side, but Su Young Yu, his grappling is just too good. His wrestling is too good. I think Xiao Long's going to get taken down. He's going to get dominated a little bit in the grappling, and he's going to get tired. So I'm going to go Su Young Yu by decision as the quick pick here. I think he's just a really, really good wrestler. In his last fight, he was able to control, what's his name? I forget his name. The guy that trains with Bryce Mitchell. He's able to control him really well. His fight before that, same thing. Su Young Yu is just really good at controlling you on the ground. Unless you have an answer for his takedowns and you can defend all of his takedowns, you're going to get taken down. You're going to get controlled. So give me Su Young Yu by decision as the quick pick. We move on to the next fight. Weston Wilson back in the UFC. Weston Wilson back in the UFC. Ridiculous. In the big 2025, Weston Wilson in the UFC against Yiza in China. I'm going Yiza, obviously. Weston Wilson is 36, 37 years old now. Somehow beat Sergey. He sucks. Jekka sucks. Weston was getting hurt initially early, and then when it was able to find that, I believe it was an arm triangle, and he hasn't fought in a while. Hasn't fought in a minute. He's old. He's slow. He can get hit very easily. He's lengthy and tall for the division, but he does not take punches well. So give me Yiza. I'm going to say Yiza gets a KO in this fight. Weston Wilson is finishable. He has been KO'd in previous fights. He fought some like so-so competition before that, but unless he's able to get Yiza to the ground, really tire him out and find a submission, I think he is just a BJJ nerd. So give me Yiza by KO in round 1 or round 2. I think he gets it done for the quick pick. We move on to the next fight. Michel Pereira versus Kyle Dawkins. Kyle Dawkins back in the UFC in the big 2025 as well. We had Weston Wilson. Now we got Kyle Dawkins. Crazy. I was really excited for Michel Pereira to fight, what's his name? Oh my goodness, Marco Tulio. I was so excited for Marco Tulio to destroy and KO Michael Pereira or Michel Pereira, but unfortunately that fight got canceled. Tulio had to pull out some sort of injury. Now Michel Pereira's got a layup in Kyle Dawkins. Dawkins has been KO'd by a lot of dudes. He's been finished by a lot of guys. He's older now. The decline of his career wasn't great. The fact that he's even back in the UFC is kind of crazy. So give me Michel Pereira by round 1, like jumping flying knee into like a guillotine or a rear naked, some crazy shit. I think Michel Pereira is just going to go crazy. When he's fighting bums like Kyle Dawkins or he's fighting guys like Ihor Potieria, he goes crazy. He goes nuts. He finishes them because he's not scared of anything. But when he's fighting somebody like Fluffy Hernandez or he's fighting somebody like Abu Magomedov. He just doesn't do that. So I think he's going to get a finish over Kyle Dawkins in the first round. He's going to be a massive favorite, I believe. So give me Michel Pereira by finish in the first round as the quick pick. We move on to the next fight, Rongju versus Austin Hubard. Actually, a surprisingly fun fight. Hubbard's tough. He throws hands. He's not scared of a fight, but he is getting a bit older. Rongju, on the other hand, just had a massive fight of the night in Australia. What was it, on UFC 312? Had a really, really fun fight. He was a big underdog. I laid a little bit on him. That was good. He beat Cody. I forget his name. Cody something. Oh, Cody Steele. I think it was Cody Steele in his debut. And Rongju was a big underdog, but he threw hands. He clipped Cody Steele a lot, was damaging him hard. They were slugging it out in the pocket. Super, super fun fight of the night. Well deserved. Rongju, I think that was his second win in the UFC. He did well on road to UFC. Got finished by Chris Padilla. I think he lost. Got finished by Ignacio Bahamondes as well. But Rongju's only lost some pretty good guys. And I think he's got great striking, good power in his hands, well diverse everywhere. Austin Hubard, he's old, hasn't looked good in his last fights. His last one, he lost by split decision, I believe, to Markel Medeiros. And that was a close fight. Like, he got the grappling off, got the back of Medeiros, but didn't look great. His striking is so-so. He's a bit slow. I think Rongju's going to be the faster striker. I think he'll be able to hold up in the grappling and stuff the takedowns. And if he keeps his striking, I think Rongju will just piece up Austin Hubard for 3 rounds. Hubbard's super tough. I don't see Rongju finishing him, so give me Rongju by decision as the quick pick. We move on to the next fight, Loner Kavanagh versus Charles Johnson. One of the most exciting fights for me on the card. One of the fights that I'm most excited for. I love Charles Johnson. Johnson's super fun, fast hands, powerful. One of the only guys to beat Joshua Van. Finished Joshua Van 4 fights ago, and now Van is the #1 contender. So Johnson's good. He's good. He's got fast hands. He's got finishing potential, and he's very tall for flyweight. Loner Kavanagh, one of the best flyweight prospects at the moment on the come up, 9-0, very, very fast, great hands. His grappling is great. His ground and pound is nasty. In his last one, he had a nice win over, who was it? It was the shoot the box kid. I forget his name, but nice win in his last one in London. And it was a good fight. All of Loner Kavanagh's fights have been good. They're fun. They're exciting. They're bloody. They're a mess. And they're a war usually. So I think this fight is not going to be any different. Charles Johnson comes to throw hands. But I do think Loner Kavanagh will be the faster striker here. His blitzing in and out, his headshots, his body shots, he mixes it up super well. He's training at Manchester Top Team, I believe, and he mixes it up really, really well. I think Loner Kavanagh will win this fight, and I think he'll win it by decision because Charles Johnson is quite tough, quite difficult to finish, and Loner Kavanagh, even though he does have a decent amount of power, I think Charles Johnson will eat those shots. Obviously, Johnson's coming off that loss to Temerov. Unfortunately, Temerov tested positive for PEDs, so I think that fight should be turned into a no contest, but we'll see what happens. But I think Loner Kavanagh gets it done. So give me Loner Kavanagh by decision as the quick pick. I think he's just a little bit faster, a little bit more well-rounded, and if he is having trouble on the feet, he'll take it to the ground, and he'll just dominate Charles Johnson on top for 15 minutes if he needs to. We move on to the next fight, Mazshit versus Gage Young. No idea why this is a fight. I think Gage Young shouldn't be in the UFC, to be honest, but also Mazshit is not very good. He's not very good. And this is actually a favorable matchup for Gage Young because Mazshit has shown some difficulties in the grappling, and he's decently tall for the division, but Gage Young, compact, good wrestling. He'll come forward, he'll plot forward, he's got a good chin. I think Gage Young can push the pace. He can get in the face of Mazshit. In his last fight, Gage Young was coming in on short notice against a pretty good, what's his name? Oh my goodness. I was about to say Elvis, but it's something like that. I forget his name. But Gage Young was coming in on short notice, didn't have a full training camp. Now he's got a full training camp. I think he wins this fight by decision. I just don't think Mazshit's very good, to be honest. And I think Gage Young can get the wrestling going, push the pace a little bit, land his jab. He's got a nice straight jab. Mazshit has a little bit of power, but he's just a little unorthodox, a little awkward. I think Gage Young will be able to push the pace. I don't think Mazshit's going to stomp down and bite down on the mouth guard and throw back as much as he needs to. So give me Gage Young by decision. I could see a decent amount of decisions on this card until we get to the main card. We move on to the main card. Tai Lac Nuera. I'm not even going to try to say his name. This kid does not have a solid record, to be honest. They're not showing it properly on the UFC app. He's got more fights, obviously. He wouldn't be in the UFC if he didn't, but I don't even know how to say his name. I don't even know how to say this kid's name, but he is quite young. He's quite young. Decent striker. His grappling's not bad as well. Kefir Crosby sucks. That's all there is to say. I don't even need to break down Tai Lac Raji. I don't even need to break him down because Kefir Crosby sucks. If Tai Lac is good at all, he will beat Kefir Crosby and he will finish Kefir Crosby. Crosby is durable. He is tough. A bit too tough for his own good, but he is finishable, especially on the ground. I think Tai Lac has good BJJ. He can find a finish. I'm going to go Tai Lac by round 1 or round 2 submission. I think Kefir Crosby is just a bit of a fish out of water on the ground, on the mat, and I don't think this should be on the main card. Like, why is Lawner Kavanagh versus Charles Johnson, not on the main card? Why is this over that on the main card? No idea. Absolutely no idea. I hope they fix the order because this is a bad fight. But I get it. They're trying to build up the Chinese fighters. They are in Shanghai. I do get it why he is on the main card. But Kefir Crosby on the main card is ridiculous in the big 2025. Anyways, we move on to the next fight. Dorgi versus Kevin Borhas. Now, this is a fun fight. Fun flyweight matchup. Kevin Borhas just fraud checked, Ronaldo Rodriguez in the UFC. Dropped him brutally with a big right hand. Had him rolling back and had him just kind of on thin ice the entire fight. Kevin Borhas has power in his hands. Dorgi, good striker. We've seen this in his last fight. He had a bounce back win against the little dude. I forget all these guys' names. But Dorgi had a good bounce back fight in his last one. Outstruck his opponent. Shouldn't have been a split decision. I think he won that unanimous, but he did get the win. And he's fighting Kevin Borhas. Borhas has fast hands. He's got knockout power. He's quick. He's fought some tough competition. And but now he's gone on a 1-fight win streak now, and I think he could win this fight against Dorgi because Kevin Borhas' hands are very solid, very fast. His boxing is going to be better than Dorgi. The only thing Dorgi has on top of Kevin Borhas is the grappling. I just don't see him being able to hold down Kevin Borhas for too long. So I'm going to go Kevin Borhas by KO. Honestly, I think Kevin Borhas is going to land that big overhand right or maybe a big overhand left and drop Dorgi and finish him. I could even see a flatline KO for Kevin Borhas. I don't know what any of the odds on this card are, but I do feel like Dorgi might be a slight favorite. Kevin Borhas could be a solid underdog in this spot, but I'm going to go Kevin Borhas by KO as the quick pick. We move on to the next fight. Now we got some ranked matchups. Sergey Pavlovich versus Waldo Cortez Costa. Great matchup. Really great matchup. Waldo's coming up on the heavyweight rankings, man. He was outside the top 10 not that long ago. Destroyed, what's his name? Oh my God, Ryan Spann. Beat Ryan Spann, and then he just beat the Polar Bear. Just beat the Polar Bear by decision. Now he's fighting Sergey Pavlovich. Tough 1-2 pick, man. I'm going to lean Sergey Pavlovich early at least. I'm leaning Sergey Pavlovich because you know the power he holds. You know the boxing he holds. You just have to pray that he utilizes it. I think Waldo Cortez Costa could get a takedown, and that could be troublesome for Sergey Pavlovich because he does have difficulty getting back to his feet. But I do think Sergey will keep this on the feet. He will land big shots to defend the ground, defend from Waldo wanting to shoot in and close that distance. I think Sergey, if he lands one of those big rights and stuns Waldo's going to be a bit worried to try to get and close the distance and get to the ground. I think it's going to be a fight from the outside. Sergey will be the one blitzing in and landing big shots. I just hope that he's not fighting scared like he did in his last one, where he fought a bit scared, he fought a bit slow, got Rosenstrike cut from the UFC, literally, because it was such a boring fight. But I think Sergey Pavlovich will feel a bit more comfortable now that he's back in the win column, and he will try to get a knockout here. I'm going to go Sergey Pavlovich by round 1 KO. I will go Sergey Pavlovich KO in 2025. Let's hope he still got it. But I could also see Cortez Acosta getting a decision, getting a takedown or two, controlling a round or two, and outstriking. But I'm going to lean Sergey Pavlovich round 1 KO as the quick pick. We move on to the co-main event. Really good co-main. Brian Ortega versus Aljamain Sterling. This is going to be a fun grappling matchup. It's going to be a very fun grappling matchup. And I think their grappling might cancel out, and we could see a striking matchup here. Brian Ortega got a fresh cut. They haven't edited it yet, but he got the short hair. Fresh cut for Brian Ortega. I like it. Aljamain Sterling, I've seen him. He's been training. He's been fit. He looks good coming into this fight. He's been training with Marab, of course, in Vegas. And I think Aljamain Sterling will look good in this fight. I do think Brian Ortega might actually have the better striking. But grappling-wise, I think Aljo is the better grappler. Former champ. He's been there. He's done that. He had a very close fight with Movzar in his last one. Brian Ortega just got pieced up by Diego Lopez really badly. Got dropped in the first round and just didn't look the same for the rest of the fight. Looked like he was on skates. And I don't think Brian Ortega is getting any younger, any better, even though Aljo is getting up there in age as well. I do think Aljo is still the better grappler. He still looked great against Movzar. Took Movzar down a bunch, dominated Movzar in positions, and it was a close fight. That could have been a split decision, but early pick, I'm going to lean Aljamain Sterling. I think he's better grappler. His striking will be there. It will be fast. The striking will be very close. Neither of them have like a power advantage, I'd say. And I don't see a knockout or a finish. But I do see Aljamain Sterling just grappling and wrestling Brian Ortega for 3 rounds and really tiring him out. So give me Aljamain Sterling as the quick pick. We move on to the main event. Johnny Walker versus Zhang Mingyang in the main event of this fight night. Crazy one in the main event. Johnny Walker in the main event of a big 2025 fight night in China. It's going to be fun. You know it's going to be fun. Walker's going to make this fight fun, even if he gets knocked out in the first round, which I believe he will. Unfortunately, Johnny Walker's chin is just the worst in the UFC. It's glass. His chin is glass. You touch Johnny Walker's chin, it just lights out, lights out. We've seen it against Volkan Ozdemir, against, oh my goodness, Ankalaev. We've seen it so many times where Johnny Walker just gets flatline KO'd, and he always gets hit with an uppercut, and it puts him to sleep. I think Zhang Mingyang is dominant in this fight. He's going to get a nice TKO, ground and pound TKO. He'll drop Johnny Walker with an elbow or with an uppercut and finish him on the ground brutally. I think Johnny Walker will go to sleep, guaranteed. Guaranteed. I would be willing to put a bunch of money on Zhang Mingyang getting a round 1 or round 2 TKO over Johnny Walker. I think he just walks him down, not scared of the power coming back his way, because Johnny Walker hasn't had that power and that explosivity that he used to have. He is training with good guys. He's training with his brother, of course, Walter Walker. He's training with Bogdan Guskov. He's training with Pavlovich. He's training with all these good guys. But I think Johnny Walker has just lost it a bit since he had that good streak. He was going on for a bit. Now that he's been chinned a couple of times, his chin is just glass. And it's hard to come back from having a good chin. I think Johnny Walker is one of those guys that should move up to heavyweight. For sure. I think he should make that move, kind of like Vitor Petrino made. I think that would suit Johnny Walker very well. But in this spot at light heavyweight against Zhang Mingyang, who's just been on a streak, knocking out. I mean, he's not knocking out the best competition, but you can see the power he has. You can see the skills that he has and the dominance that he has in round 1. He's one of those really good round 1 finishers. I think he's the best round 1 finisher in the light heavyweight division. I won't lie. He is the best round 1 finisher in the light heavyweight division right now. And in China, I think he will get that highlight finish. So give me Zhang Mingyang with the first round or second round TKO. Brutal TKO for sure. He's going to finish Johnny Walker. I think he's very good. Just beat Anthony Smith how he should beat Anthony Smith in his retirement fight. Just destroyed him, cut him open, had him bloody, had him battered up, had him beat up in that final minute of the first round, and just destroyed Anthony Smith. I think he does the same to Johnny Walker, who's aging, has a glass chin, hasn't looked good recently, took a lot of time off, should move up to heavyweight, and he hasn't done that. So give me Zhang Mingyang, round 1 TKO. We are done with the quick picks, the quick predictions for UFC Fight Night, Walker versus Zhang, Shanghai. It's going to be a great card. I think this is a fun fight night. If you guys enjoyed the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, drop it down in the comments who you guys are picking in the main event, and I will catch you boys in the next one. See you.